Congress publicly, "We've got him." The appointment of previous FBI Chief Robert Mueller as uncommon insight to explore claimed uncalled for associations between the Trump campaign and Russia has been laden with troubles that are at any rate concerning if not precluding. Everybody is normally mindful of the way this will be a very politicized case. The issue is that Mr. Mueller does not appear to be worried about impartiality in the presence of irreconcilable circumstances. For instance, it has been reported that Mr. Mueller has stacked his staff of legal counselors with the individuals who have given to Hillary's battle. That doesn't demonstrate a predisposition, yet searching for staff individuals who are to some degree less occupied with the decision may have been a superior move. At that point, there is the matter of Mr. Mueller's cozy association with previous FBI Chief who may go under investigation. However, another disturbing part of this. Thus, Congressman Babin has called for Special Counsel Mueller to show up before committees of both houses of Congress to testify with respect to conceivable irreconcilable situations and the degree to which his test will go. He has circled a letter requesting that different agents sign on that it may be forwarded to the appropriate committee chairman in the House and Senate. Texas Republican Representative Brian Babin asks the congressman to sign a letter asking that Special Counsel Robert Mueller publicly appear in a congressional hearing, the Daily Caller has learned. Mueller, who is investigating Russian election interference and possible ties between the Kremlin and the Trump campaign, has come under intense criticism from allies of President Donald Trump for hiring attorneys who have donated to Democratic candidates and for his personal relationship with former FBI Director James Comey. Trump himself has called Mueller's employment of Democratic donors ridiculous, yet he maintains that he has no plans to dismiss the special counsel. Without a doubt, Mueller's demonstration of contracting of these committed Hillary Clinton supporters to fill in as his staff lawyers practically appear as though he is welcoming feedback. Also, if the extent of the investigation is not obviously characterized, it could turn into a changeless apparatus, proceeding until at any rate the finish of Mr. Trump's tenure as president. Representative Babin is not by any means the only congressman who has been incredulous of the Mueller test. Arizona Republican Representative Trent Franks recently said that Mueller is in a clear violation of federal law due to his reported friendship with Comey and added that due to this conflict of interest Mueller must resign. Franks' comments are significantly more grounded, yet relying upon the bearing of this probe, he has a point. On the off chance that things being what they are, Mr. Comey turns into a target of the investigation, genuine inquiries of unprejudiced nature must be raised given Mueller's close relationship with Comey. Put another way, might one be able to truly expect Mr. Mueller to pursue a dear companion similarly he would an outsider? Likely not. Given that this investigation has the capability of transforming into a media bazaar, it is basic that Mr. Mueller keeps up the most extreme in unbiasedness. Given his connections with Mr. Comey and his staff's associations with Mrs. Clinton, Mueller has a great deal of work to do in demonstrating he is fair. Furthermore, if hearings demonstrate that he has a political motivation, or in the event that he has irreconcilable situations, he needs to step down or be replaced. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. H.T. The Daily Government took $1.6 million of your tax dollars to spend on this. You'll be angry. With regards to fraud, waste, and abuse, most offenders and huge government spenders will stay nearby one of three major territories: Social Security, Medicare, and welfare. This isn't one of those spots. This sort of waste is new. You've most likely heard about 6 stories about the legislature paying individuals to reveal to us what we definitely know. Being obese is unhealthy, well, much obliged, virtuoso. Smoking is terrible for you, you don't state. What's more, today, we have another one: drinking soda isn't good for you. And this specific pearl of a perception accompanies, sit tight for it, a $1.6 million price tag. The truth is stranger than fiction, $1.5 million, to have the capacity to tell individuals that soda isn't good for you. Via the Daily Caller, the National Institute of Health, NIH, awarded Augusta University physiologist Truth Harris $1.6 million to study the health effects of soft drinks on people. The 4-year grant will be used to determine why sugar sucrose is more potent, or cause weight gain faster, when poured in the form of a soda than when it is eaten as solid food. So, it's fair, we're not so much discovering that soda is bad for you, we're just trying to determine how bad. Interesting question, I guess. But I cannot see the answer worth $1.6 million. Or, on the other hand, any place near $1.6 million. Also, it's difficult to see exactly where every one of these costs is originating from. Physiologist Truth Harris will use lab rats for the study, feeding them sugar water and measuring their body's response. Harris' research focuses on the hormone leptin, which helps control body composition. Possibly. Perhaps the rats are truly costly? Maybe we're having them transported in from Mars. The most amazing piece of this entire study is found in the caller's last section. The $1.6 million grant will cover 4 years of research, at the end of which Harris will have to finish her research on the project or reapply for more funding. Things being what they are, you're stating this could cost more than $1.6 million? Dear God. See, we should make this simple. Soda is terrible for you. Try not to drink excessively of it. Problem solved, right? What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. H.T. The Daily. Guess who must testify before Congress about Obama spying? The plot thickens as the profundities to which the scandals in D.C. go simply continue getting further. Unless we have at last accomplished the point where Washington is absolutely exempt from the laws that apply to everyone else, and our justice system has been totally fixed or rendered futile, the time has come to see a few indictments. The sheer likelihood that every one of the allegations and confirmation against Obama, Lynch, Hillary, Huma, Podesta, Wasserman Schultz, Comey, and a pack of others are only dreams concocted by their political rivals must be galactic. On the off chance that justice exists in D.C., it roots past time for it to demonstrate its head. Evidently, that idea has jumped out at Ronna Romney McDaniel, chair of the RNC, as she has approached previous DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, to testify before Congress after her long-term IT staff member just got arrested for bank fraud as he was endeavoring to escape the nation. McDaniel is clearly partisan, however, the congressional panel would be bipartisan, in this manner taking out the charge that the investigation would be run just by the Republicans. McDaniel made an explosive demand in an exclusive interview with Breitbart News via phone on Wednesday afternoon, after news broke Tuesday night that Wasserman Schultz's IT staffer for more than a decade was caught trying to flee the country by a federal law enforcement agent after wiring hundreds of thousands of dollars to Pakistan. I think the Congress needs to open an investigation into what this staffer had access to find out what information he had on the hard drives he took a Hummer to, why he was fleeing the country, McDaniel told Breitbart News. There are just so many questions with this individual and his family members who received over $4 million of taxpayer money between 2005 and 2009. We need to get to the bottom of it. It's very sad that the mainstream media does not talk about this at all. It shows the bias. McDaniel makes some great focuses. She likewise insinuates the way that the mainstream media is generally overlooking this because of its undeniable radical predisposition. That is valid, yet these are private news associations, and they are probably not going to change their approach as long as enough liberals tune in or purchase their daily papers to keep the mainstream media firms beneficial. It's a dismal unavoidable truth, however, it essentially implies that conservatives should simply work that substantially harder to contend in the field of thoughts. Wasserman Schultz has a great deal of disclosing to do. Probably her worry and those of her countrymen are that she may be constrained to uncover data that prompts a web of wrongdoing in which a hefty portion of those comrades would be gotten up to speed. Comrades, for example, Obama and Clinton for one thing. Debbie Wasserman Schultz absolutely needs to testify and explain why this individual was on a payroll paid by taxpayer until yesterday, as he was fleeing the country, on top of the fact that they had removed his access to congressional computers in February, McDaniel said. She knew she was under investigation, she knew something was wrong, and she kept him on the payroll. So we need to figure out what she knew, why she was protecting this person, and figured out what he did with important government information. On the off chance that the justice system might want to be regarded, something that is thought to be the situation, at that point it is the ideal opportunity for forceful, exhaustive, and unprejudiced investigations to start that outcome in arraignments. The steady politicization of each potential criminal issue just leads Americans to presume that most everybody in Washington is abnormal to some degree, and this does the country no great by any means. The media can make every one of the clamors it needs on the two sides of the issue. The justice system must not be a media-driven association but rather a reality-driven one, honing strong, demonstrated investigative methods. In the event that Congress needs to hold hearings to find actualities that assistance, fine. In any case, it's a great opportunity to see justice in real life. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. H. T. Briet. The silence is broken. Marco Rubio announcement, this will keep you up at night. President Donald Trump has promised to make America great again. Regardless of awful resistance from liberals, set-up conservatives, and the media, he is following through on his promise. He has as of late supported a law that is truly necessary for our nation. One that will ensure our quality and dependability for a considerable length of time to come. However, even individuals from his own party appear to be against it, before it can even be voted on. Vibriet Bart, Senator Marco Rubio, RFL, predicts that a bill aimed at reducing illegal immigration, endorsed by President Trump, will not gain enough votes to pass the Senate. That bill will not pass. I think the White House knows that you do not have 60 votes for that in the Senate, Rubio told CBS Miami. The system prioritizes prospective legal immigrants with sought-after skills, education, or English language proficiency and would curb the number of green cards issued each year. Despite Trump's promise to reform immigration and polls that show public support for a merit-based immigration system, the measure needs 60 votes to pass the Senate without a filibuster. Rubio was part of the Gang of Eight, a group of 8 senators who pushed for legislation that would provide amnesty for illegal aliens in 2013 without a clear timeline of when immigration laws would begin to enforce. For some time now, President Trump has talked about the need to change to a 51-vote system in the Senate. This bill may be the tipping point to get that going. Unmistakably, Democrats decline to work with the president on anything. This group of sharp losers will drag the nation into ruin if given the possibility. The main seek after our nation is if faithful conservatives in the Senate work with the president, not avoid him. Be that as it may, that remaining part's to be seen. The best thing going for the president in this bill is the mind-boggling support from voters. Much like on account of canceling Obamacare, if the Senate neglects to pass, they are the ones in risk. Re-races are coming up soon. Trump is following through on his oath. In any case, numerous senators, including Republicans, are most certainly not. On the off chance that they can't pass the RAISE Act, well, a cluster of them won't have employments come 2018. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. H. T. Briet Bar. Resignation. Paul Ryan defies President Trump, look what he said. With regards to his association with President Trump, House Speaker Paul Ryan is to a greater extent an undeniable irritation than he is an assistance. He more likely than not made sense of that by impeding the president he is giving himself and the Republican House he drives in notoriety for being a piece of a do-nothing Congress. Apparently, he trusts his qualifications as an rhino are more essential than his leader's motivation. In any occasion, he is, no less than, a failure to conservatives. Review that he was chosen to the position of the Speaker in the fallout of the resignation of previous Speaker Boehner, another Republican who experienced considerable difficulties. This conservative thing right. Review additionally that Ryan was Mitt Romney's running mate in 2012. So it is absurd to anticipate that Ryan will be a reliable conservative. It's simply not in his blood. Ryan's most recent cleanup with the president includes the president's immigration agenda. In particular, Ryan contradicts President Trump's intent to forbid lawful migrants from getting welfare benefits for the initial 5 years they are in the nation. The thought is to safeguard that the individuals who arrive here lawfully can act naturally, supporting it bodes well. Consequently, Ryan contradicts it. House Speaker Paul Ryan, RW, seems to want struggling working-class Americans to stay poor, saying he is opposed to President Donald Trump's proposed immigration cuts. Trump, along with Sens. Tom Cotton, RR, and David Perdue, RGA, this week introduced the RAISE Act, a largely merit-based immigration program that aims to protect the U.S. taxpayers and American workers by reducing legal immigration and putting upward pressure on wages. Ryan's not content with this. What's his concern? I just think arbitrary cuts to legal immigration do not take into account the economic needs as the boomers are retiring, Ryan told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel on Friday afternoon. With baby boomers leaving the workforce, we will still have labor shortages in certain areas, and that's where a well-reformed legal immigration system should be able to make up the difference. So Ryan trusts that legislation intended to build a level of assurance that legitimate outsiders are employable and not prompt welfare cases is a terrible thing. How does including outsiders who draw welfare benefits help Americans? Obviously, it doesn't. Breitbart News' John Carney's analysis has determined that the bill, which would cut legal immigration into the United States by half, and grant entry based on education, the ability to speak English, and job skills, would actually make the working-class Americans wealthier because the gross domestic product per U.S. resident would grow. It would be extremely invigorating if those on the left, and in addition rhinos like Ryan, would begin concentrating on approaches that would profit working Americans, so their earnings and riches can develop. Working-class Americans don't have a lasting pay of the level that a previous congressman or congressperson draws. Officials occupy an altogether different world from whatever is left of us. In any case, that is another issue for some other time. At the present time, there's work to be done in remedying Mr. Ryan's faulty positions. Or, then again, perhaps now is the ideal time just to replace him. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. H. T. Breitbart.